I will start this segment by saying credentialism. The idea that your significance or worth is tied to other academics and elites determining it as such. The reality of the world is that influence comes from those who can influence others. I mean, I know it's kind of simple, but if you have the ability through various means to be influential, you are significant. Why do I say that? Well, Eric Weinstein has refused to vote for Donald Trump. He says, I am failing this election. I tried, but I simply failed. I cannot work within these concepts. My world, my country, my America is not on the ballot. He goes on to explain he's not for what we are being offered. Mike Cernovich responds. Cernovich says, Eric, no one loves you more than me, so I'll lay it out. He then goes on to talk about the need and the importance of voting. Well, the response from Eric Weinstein is to be shocked and offended that Mike Cernovich called himself more significant than Eric Weinstein. And this is fascinating. Eric Weinstein may have certain significance, but in the political arena and in the grand scheme, the idea that because you are a well-connected, intelligent person of peer review makes you significant is laughably absurd. Donald Trump wins elections because people know his name. You can have the greatest product and the greatest ideas, and if you don't know how to share them, you are not significant. But this is not a show to insult Eric Weinstein, but to lay out the arguments of credentialism, that is, why it's wrong, and to talk about Eric Weinstein refusing to vote. He says, here's what I will say. I will work with anyone to restore my country. I've been an expert on what is wrong with our CPI inflation gauge. I was an expert on immigration in the 90s and early 2000s. I wrote one of the earliest peer-reviewed academic papers on the danger of mortgage-backed securities in 2001. And I know how and why the science system and the physics with a prayer to get us out of the solar system is being dismantled by our government. I co-ran the Sloan Science and Engineering Workforce Project at Harvard and the NBER. I refuse to take all the hard work and just flush it down the toilet on these campaigners. These campaigns are horrific. They destroy the ethos of our nation. I don't want lawfare. I don't want insecure elections or insecure borders. I don't want bullying. I don't want the government departments named to promote financial instruments. I don't want reproductive mutilation of children. I don't want free speech to allow anonymous accounts to stalk and ruin actual people. I don't want censorship. I don't want tech companies to be in front of the security state. I don't want a naive American foreign policy in a dangerous world. And I don't want to go around the world screwing over or killing good people because they happen to live on top of mineral resources. I don't want endless wars. I don't want isolationism. I want common sense and some civility, clarity, charity of spirit, and decency. I want a world free from endless utopian, reactionary, progressive, or revolutionary nonsense. I am not giving you my recommendation. The risks are profound and very, very different on both sides. I have a guess where the bigger risks lie, but that is only a guess. I am rolling up my sleeves. If any of you want to help, I am here for either team should you win. I do not believe that anyone on the blue team will ever do anything to contact me other than get hit pieces written against me. Even though I am a registered Democrat, you have become a cult that brooks no dissent. So be it. That said, I would love to be proven wrong. Try me. There aren't that many technical U.S.-born Harvard STEM PhDs, MIT postdocs with a huge audience. If you can't work with me, that's on you. As for the red team, 3 of the big 6 of you know me. I am here to help get things done on science, policy, education, etc. Those are my core competencies where I have something unique to offer you. If loyalty to campaigns matters to you, I am sorry. I am loyal to the country as I understand it, and the campaigns weren't in my idiom at all. They felt almost totally wrong to me, no hard feelings. Let's get things fixed or not, up to you. I'd opt for the former. Let's un-F ourselves as soon as this is over. Cernovich replies, that reads like a letter to Santa Claus. And Weinstein says, or the tooth fairy, that was the point. 20 years ago, there was someone to hear it. Now it's addressed to the dead letter office. My, how time flies. See you in AC. Maybe everything that dies someday comes back. Cernovich's response, in AA, there's a concept of terminally unique. Every alcoholic is convinced his addiction story is special beyond treatment. Have you considered you're a garden variety fence sitter who doesn't want social disapproval from peers and there's nothing deeper to it than that? To which Weinstein says, really? Do you want me to turn that around so we can go after each other? Why drama? Decline. We have mutual friends who are more careful people. They link to their names to Trump. I got to watch. Yikes. You are a different beast. Go do you. Be well. Mike Cernovich responds to the post saying, Eric, no one loves you more than me, so I'll lay it out. When you came out as a liberal who doesn't understand the left, you were welcomed by many people far more significant than you, including myself. You responded by trying to steer MAGA people to the left. sabotage Kavanaugh, you owe an apology for that, using your platform to promote warmongers, whether you were ever sincere is a question for others. But this is all nonsense. You're afraid to take a stand because your peers and friends and Sam Harris would not like it. You're not above it all. You're not even heterodox to an appreciable degree. You don't break news. You don't have right-wing podcast guests on. You're timid. You're a moral coward. You found a cozy existence where Joe, Shapiro, etc. will promote you. You want to keep the audience of Trump people without paying a social price. No one will tell you this because they'll be blacklisted from the podcast Circle Jerk. But this is pathetic. Every word you wrote oozes moral cowardice in a pivotal moment in American history. This is self-important, horse-ish, best suited for a therapist's chair. Woo! Wow, getting spicy there, Mike. Eric Weinstein responds with, "You were welcomed by many people far more significant than you, including myself. Whoa, WTF. You are more significant than me? Wow, Mike, I don't treat you this way. You have never said anything like that before. You have been decent to me. I'm just shocked. I mean, F that. Geez, I'm not doing this. I treat you with respect. You can certainly do the same. You have a champion. I do not. Passions are high. So go fight. I don't even think we are playing the same sport, honestly. And I don't want any of what you are stirring up here against me. I'm not steering MAGA to the left. Seriously, what the hell? I'm largely a moderate, common sense person during a time of mass delusions, particularly, but not exclusively, on the left. That is not news. It's not low T, a trick, or secret, or crime. Not everything is. Gorilla emoji. Go do MAGA. Go try to win. Good luck. But leave me the hell out of this. The end. Cernovich's reply, "You are more significant than me, in politics and culture, objectively true then and now. I realize you invented physics, or that you have the rest of us beat. Even so, irrelevant to central points, and it's revealing that that line is what resonated. Indeed, I agree with Mike Cernovich. Eric Weinstein was truly offended, and that was his point of moral outrage, that Mike Cernovich dare say he's more significant than Eric Weinstein." Eric Weinstein is a prominent personality, and he's allowed to support whatever politics he wants. I don't care. There are leftists who are voting for Kamala Harris. I think they're wrong. Eric Weinstein says the left is crazy, but I don't like Donald Trump and I won't work with him either. I think he's absolutely wrong. I have been smeared left and right. It's fascinating when Don Lemon calls me extreme, and he did, which is the weirdest thing because I literally just did an interview on Piers Morgan with Nina Turner where we agreed. And I agree with her on many of these issues, including social justice and race relations in the United States. How about that? And she's a leftist. You see, people like Eric Weinstein, I agree, are moral cowards. I would not necessarily use that term to describe Eric Weinstein. Considering it's been laid out, I will say I agree with Mike Cernovich. I do not mean to disrespect Eric Weinstein, but I laugh at this. You're more significant than me. Oh, how dare you? If Mike Cernovich said that he truly believed he was more significant than me, I would not at all be offended. I'd say, interesting. Explain this to me, break it down for me. I don't know how you quantify significance other than perhaps viewership or something. But Mike Cernovich has played a massive role in global affairs, such as, breaking the Epstein story. Massive. And I have tremendous respect for him for these things. But what does it mean to be truly significant? Well, I can give it to Eric Weinstein. Works with big names, billionaires, can whisper in ears. Is that significant? To a degree, sure. Mike Cernovich can make his arguments and well. But it's fascinating to me who Eric Weinstein reveals himself to be. Now, I don't know the guy very well. I met him one time. And we've never had him on the show or anything like that. I do know his brother, Brett, who I think is great, and Heather, his wife, also very, very great people. Eric has a reputation for being a snoot. I'm not directing this. I'm not saying this of you. I'm saying I have met a lot of people. They consider Eric Weinstein to be an elitist snob who genuinely upholds the tenets of elitism to the truest sense. Meaning, if you are a poor working class person, he snubs you. I don't know that's true. That is what people say of him. He doesn't want to vote for Trump, but he wants to work with Trump knowing the left is crazy. This reeks of hypocrisy. What I see from this exchange is a man who says, I will work with anybody. I know the left won't work with me. The right maybe will. I'm not going to support Donald Trump. It's fascinating. I'm not here to support Donald Trump. I'm here to support this country. And Donald Trump is the best I've seen in my life. You don't like his behavior, his attitude? I think you're a liar. Anybody who has the nerve to come out and say, I want secure borders, I don't want child mutilation, listing off these things and then go, oh, but I wouldn't vote for Donald Trump. You're a liar. From 2016 to 2020, I had been saying I'd never vote for the guy. I don't like his behavior. I think decorum matters. But Trump policy started to come to light. And I said it plainly as I could. How could I advocate for these things, which are tremendous moral goods for this country, and then argue I wouldn't vote for Donald Trump? Well, that would be hypocritical. I know the territory that comes, the smears, the lies, the manipulation. I have no fear of these things. I am who I am. I have no problem being critical of Eric Weinstein in this regard. As Mike Cernovich points out, there are many people who are scared to criticize him because of the podcast Circle Jerk. I literally don't care. I'm always going to say how I think, how I feel. And if it hurts someone's feelings, that's just too bad. I believe that Eric and many others who are saying they would not vote for Donald Trump right now, despite agreeing that we need the majority of what he's offering, are hypocrites and liars for whatever reason. Mike Cernovich says it's because he's scared, he's a moral coward, and he doesn't want to pay a social price. Significance. Let me tell you about true significance. Credentialism. Eric Weinstein talks of all the important things he does. How many people know who he is? Honest question. How significant is he truly? To me, there is but one significance. Now, it's fair to say that there's ancillary and secondary significance, but you are significant when you directly influence the masses. And that could be a real estate reality TV guy like Donald Trump, and or it could be a salesman. It could be a politician. But being a relatively moderately known figure in the podcast circuit who has connections to powerful people does not make you significant. Perhaps to a degree, but I would just say this. I'm on the outside of your world, Eric, and this is not meant to be disrespectful. It's meant to be direct and factual. Your reach is nothing compared to Mike Cernovich. In the grand scheme of where we are right now, from the 2016 election till today, Mike Cernovich has been substantially more significant. I suppose I can just look at Mike Cernovich's 1.3 million followers to Eric Weinstein's 995,000 and say Mike Cernovich has slightly more significance in that regard. But does that really matter? I don't know if follower count matters, but the reality is Mike Cernovich has reached and will reach more people, more influential people, and more powerful people, and his ideas will shape substantially more of this world than Eric's will. And that's the reality of significance. The reason why I bring this up is that it seems Eric was deeply offended by such a notion that someone else would be more significant than he. Why is that offensive? Anyone who wants to can argue they're more significant than me, and I'd say, okay. Yeah, honestly, I don't know. I sit in a room and I'm looking at a camera right now. That's it. The degree of influence is unknown to me other than, I guess, view count relative to other view counts. So what does it really mean? Right now, let me put it this way. The reason why I wanted to record this segment, you have a choice between you right now. Kamala Harris, 4 more years of what may be some of the worst policy imaginable. A woman with no plans and no path. We've got criminals on the run. We've got Trende Arago taking over apartment complexes. And you have Donald Trump, an imperfect avatar of the rage of the working class and the populist movement of this country. Which do you accept? A logical response based on the math is simple. You vote Trump. You accept the price that comes along with it. You accept the negatives with the positive, but the positives outweigh the negatives. You don't have a better choice. Anybody, in my opinion, who could correctly identify what is going on in this country, who would then say, I'm not voting for Donald Trump, is lying. And I believe that of many people that I do know, many libertarians, I don't believe are being honest when they say they're not going to vote. I believe Michael Malice when he says he's not going to vote. I genuinely do believe that guy. He's an anarchist, and his anarchy ideology, his ideas are very apparent to him. They matter much, much more. But there are a lot of people I can see. Even Dave Smith has come out saying he's voting for Donald Trump. And I could see that coming. Because I said, how could someone as smart as Dave recognize everything going on with the Democratic Party and not just be like, Trump is better? If you vote for Kamala Harris or don't vote, war, conflict, crisis at minimum. You vote for Donald Trump, inching towards something better? It's not perfect, is it? I'll leave it there. I think the idea has been expressed. Next segment is coming up tonight at 8 p.m. It's the whole show, Timcast IRL. Smash that like button. Share the show with everyone you know. You can follow me on X and Instagram at Timcast. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you all then.